Okay, we are recording.
Hello, this Capstone project is done by Jessica Brown, Shelly Mattscheck, and Josh Miller. Imagine moving a loved one into a senior living community. In a short time frame, families are making emotional decisions, signing complex residency agreement, meeting multiple department managers, and learning a new processes, trying to remember dozens of important details. At Benchmark, we invest significant time creating a warm and supportive move-in experience. We introduce families to our care teams, explain who to contact for different needs, and provide resources to help them navigate their journey. Yet, despite our best efforts, the reality that is that families are often overwhelmed. The information they receive is critical, but much of it is forgotten, misplaced, or difficult to access when it is needed most. As a result, families frequently reach back out to our sales team, the person they know best, instead of connecting directly with the care teams or the executive director who is now supporting their loved one. The challenge isn't that we're failing to provide the information. The challenge is that we're providing it all at once during one of the most emotional moments in a family's life. This creates three issues: information overload. Families struggle to retain information details about services, processes, and contacts. Communication insufficiencies. Questions are often directed to the wrong person, creating delays and frustration for both families and associates. And lack of ongoing accessibility. After move-in, families don't have a single trusted location to quickly find answers, documents, updates, and key contracts. So if we could extend the move-in experience beyond a single meeting and place everything right in their pocket, that's where Benchmark Connect comes in. Before discussing a solution, we're going to take a minute to walk through the current resident onboarding experience and the challenges both families and our teams face today. When a resident and their family decide to move into our communities, they're entering a significant life transition. While it is most often an exciting milestone, it can be an emotional, stressful, and overwhelming. Today, our onboarding process begins with a move-in meeting that typically lasts 45 to 60 minutes. During this meeting, families are introduced to multiple members of the leadership team, including the executive director, resident care director, dining director, plan ops director, program director, director of business administration, and either a traditional care director or mind and memory director. Depending on the community, they also might meet care team members such as medication technicians and resident care associates. The goal of this meeting is important. We want families to understand who we are, what each department does, and how well we will support their loved one moving forward. It also serves as a transition point from the sales director who has guided them through the decision-making process to the operational and clinical teams who will provide the ongoing care and support. While this approach is comprehensive and well-intentioned, it presents several challenges. The first challenge is the information overload. The single meeting, families introduce numerous team members, receive important operational information, review expectations, and learn about available services. At the same time, they're often managing contract, financial decisions, healthcare needs, and moving logistics, and the emotional impact of relocating a loved one. As a result, much of the information shared in the onboarding can be difficult to absorb or retain. The second challenge is the communication dependency on the sales director. Because the sales director has been the family's primary point of contact through their journey, many families continue to reach out to that individual after move-in. While sales directors are always willing to help, questions related to care, dining, maintenance activities, or billing often get handled directly by the operational leaders responsible for those services. This creates communication insufficiencies and can delay responses. Third challenge is the role confusion. Weeks or months after move-in, families no longer remember who they met, what each person's role is, or who to contact for specific needs. This can lead to frustration, repeated questions, and uncertainty when residents need assistance. The fourth challenge is not that family members are able to attend, not all family members are able to attend the onboarding meeting. Often key decision makers, adult children, siblings, or other families cannot be present during the initial discussion. Those individuals may later feel disconnected from the process, frustrated because they didn't receive the same information of those who attended. Finally, there is no central location for families that can easily access the information after the meeting is over. Next slide, please. Important documents, contact information, community resource policies, and frequently asked questions are often spread across emails, printed materials, and verbal conversations. When families need answers, they may not know where to look or who to contact. As a result, there's a gap between the move-in experience we provide and the ongoing support families need after move-in. Families want information when they need it, not just when they initially are presented. They want clear guidance, easy access to resources, and confidence that they can quickly find answers to their questions. These challenges can create significant opportunity for us to enhance the resident and family experience by providing more connected, accessible, user-friendly support system throughout their entire journey with Benchmark. And opportunity is exactly what Benchmark Connect designed to address. Next slide, and Jessica.
So as Shelly introduced some of the challenges, it's really a twofold issue. We have effects on residents and families and effects on the operator. So we've broken it down into two of those categories and the solutions that Benchmark Connect will present. So in summary, that the clunky move-in process, confusion about where to direct questions, no digital access at this time, often various family members getting involved, and additionally, friction with maintenance requests. That's always a huge pain point in the community about where those requests stand, who's managing them, especially where some of those requests can become lengthy in time. And we often have to order pieces and parts, and it's not an immediate turnaround. So from the resident and family perspective, Benchmark Connect will bring these solutions. So the digital suite will have a frequently asked questions by department. And this is really where we're going to lean into our AI assistants. There'll be opportunity 24/7 for people to get basic answers to questions that are commonly asked. Additionally, the digital access will let us upload key documents such as leases, power of attorney documents, any addendums we've had the family sign. Again, they'll probably want to reference those maybe 3-6 months a year down the road, and they often lose the binder. One family member gets a binder of physical documents, where any family member with access to our Benchmark Connect app can have this at their fingertips along with the resident. And then additionally, it's a low friction way to submit community feedback and maintenance requests. Additionally, if we go to the next slide, on the operator end, each new move-in creates time drag for community staff. Not that we don't want to have those interactions with the residents and families, but we would like to have meaningful connections with our residents and families. There's always the additional time lag in the sales director stepping away from being that point person, as Shelly mentioned, to handing over to the greater department head team. And then resident feedback is something we always look for. A lot of times we have our annual resident surveys. So we'll touch upon later on how that can be more real time in the Benchmark Connect app. Some of the solutions on the operator end, our introductions can become a little bit more brief and in person, where rather than kind of presenting hefty information all at once in a opening meeting where the residents and families have a lot on their mind. They may not know what to ask at that point. It will help us redirect the questions to the appropriate department head or department director, ensuring a fast and efficient answer versus, having the wrong person be asked the question who has to pass it on to the next director. It will streamline that process and make sure that we're giving that high level customer service when questions do arise. And finally, the community and feedback into the maintenance requests at different portals. Josh will show the app, which will give us at our fingertips information we can circle back into as operators to really fine tune our service to our residents and families. I'm going to turn it over to Josh to discuss the user interface in the app.
Absolutely. So again, our solution here is twofold. One, improving the onboarding and maintenance request process for residents and their family, while also improving transparency, communication, and data analytics to the operating company. So I'll walk you through kind of both sides of the app. First, the resident, second, the operator. So we'll begin with the resident and their families. So when a resident and family decides to move into Benchmark, they will get a new application that they could download on their phone with a unique invitation code that any family member or resident can access. So all residents and family have information at their fingertips. Here's a mock-up of what the app would look like. As you can see, it's pretty simple, where you enter a code and then immediately you're in the app, and there's a bunch of quick access features. So you could meet the team, learn frequently asked questions, see all the documents that you have with the community. You can give feedback and submit your maintenance requests. So diving a little bit deeper here, as soon as you get the application, one of the first things people want to know is, how do I learn more about the different services that the community offers? Who are the people I'll be interacting with, or my loved one will be interacting with, and where could I get that? So as Jessica and Shelly mentioned, this is usually done via a 45-minute to an hour presentation by each department head, where families are given a ton of paperwork and a ton of information is thrown at them all at once. So the goal here is give them an easy to use application ahead of time that streamlines a lot of that learning curve, so that questions in the future could be more tailored to that individual family or resident's needs, rather than the general questions that could be answered in 10 seconds. So for example, here you could click on the dining services department, and you got a little bio on who the dining services director is, about them, how long they've been there, and then preloaded answered questions with frequently asked questions that everyone asks. How many meals do you serve per day? Is it credits or is it free? Are there any special diets that you guys do to accommodate my needs? What are the guest dining restrictions? Stuff like that. So all of that could be answered here. Again, these are usually questions everyone asks. And so when residents and families do come in to meet the dining service director for the first time, they'll already have some background and context and could ask more pointed questions, rather than having to start with all the general information and then later on drilling into the more niche questions, which just eats up more of everyone's time. The other thing this does great is it's got all of it in one app. A lot of these materials are currently sent via email or a hard copy, which people could lose or misplace. This lets you have all of it in your pocket any given point in time, anywhere, for any family member. Go to the next slide here. So the other cool feature about this, again, we hit a little bit on frequently asked questions and how the app will already outline all of that, but we also have the ability to submit specific questions to department heads. For example, am I able to bring a friend to lunch today? Or can we do certain things in the dining or in the activities part? So those questions will get routed directly to department heads, instead of going to, what usually happens is it goes to sales directors, because families, they build up a rapport with the sales director. That's their point of contact. And sales directors could kind of get inundated with information requests that don't pertain to their area of operation. So, if you're an operator, you want your salesperson really leaning into doing sales. And when they're having to spend half of their day facilitate questions about dining or questions about activities or questions about care, it may take them a little bit out of that ability to go out and sell. And so this app allows for a way to direct questions directly to department heads and get them answered directly by department heads. So at the beginning, that's how it will work. Over time, our goal of the app is to start to implement AI that could then start to learn how to answer these questions effectively, but that's kind of a further down the road thing. And again, reminder, all of this takes away from the department heads having to do a 45-minute to an hour presentation where they're spending a lot of their time any given month giving these presentations over and over again. We feel like this will really speed up that process and give them more time to focus on their department. And then the other thing is just the document retention, which we talked about. In the app, you'll have your lease agreement, residency agreement, care plans, and any family member can access it. You won't need to worry about, hey, did I save or flag that email that had the lease agreement? I can't find it, or your brother's asking for it and you got to go find it and forward it. This kind of eases all of that headache. It's all right here on the app for anyone to access. The last mock-up slide we'll show you here for the resident experience is the maintenance requests. So currently maintenance requests are done by residents walking to the front desk, giving a maintenance request to someone at the front desk. That person that's at the front desk then acts like a middleman and puts the information request into Benchmark's maintenance portal. This kind of takes out that middleman function where residents can just simply submit maintenance requests directly into the app, and then they'll get real-time feedback on the status of that maintenance request from maintenance directors. So, they could put in a expected completion date or give an update like, hey, we're just waiting on a new faucet for your sink and we expect that to be completed by X date. So that's the intention here, is to make the maintenance feedback more seamless for residents, and then also give real-time feedback. So this is totally optional. It's not mandatory on residents, but the ability for residents to go into the app and give feedback and ratings by department. So they could go in there and give comments about the food or something with the dining that they're very happy or unhappy with. Same with any department. So this gives operators real-time feedback to resident preferences and feedback on what they're enjoying or not enjoying in the community. So again, that's the resident experience. And then now we'll show what it looks like from the operating standpoint and the issues that it solves for operating companies and insights it gives to them. So here's kind of your high-level portal. If you're an operator, you open it up and you could see your dashboard. There's department profiles, which you can always edit. If you got a new nursing and care director, you can go and upload a new bio and resume for that person, remove the old one. You could send out your invitation codes to new families that are moving into the community and view any documents, just like the families can. You'll have all the documents in one place for each of your residents. So diving into a little bit of how would we use this, here's a dashboard that shows the executive director and department heads exactly what's going on in the community. It gives you a screenshot of some big picture issues, how many maintenance requests are open, how many unanswered questions do we have from residents or families where they've directed questions directly to department heads seeking feedback. It will give you some real-time average rating feedback from your residents. Again, goes back to them being able to kind of score things by department, so you can manage in real time, how's my community looking in this given month. And then it will also give you reminders here in the app of a move-in is coming up, or there's a maintenance request, or there's a question answer. All of that will be provided here, and the goal is transparency. The next one is, we talked about the maintenance portal with residents, where they can kind of cut out the middleman of having to go to the front desk and instead could submit it straight on the app. Here's what that would look like for operators. And for reference too, Benchmark already has a maintenance portal where they kind of manage this whole process called Tells. The point of this app is to just integrate directly with Tells. So instead of the front desk person having to go and do a manual login to there to be directed to maintenance, our application can now do it, so it goes straight from resident to maintenance director in Tells. So it really just speeds up the process. It removes any issues with something getting lost in translation. If a front desk person doesn't quite understand what they were told or forgets because something else comes up, it really just streamlines the whole maintenance process. So the last part of the operator portal that we'll talk about is, again, just that real-time feedback. In an age of intelligence and AI, real-time feedback is becoming more and more of a theme where you don't have to wait long periods of time to get information. Residents will be able to provide information as they wish, whether it's weekly or monthly or every other few months. The application will give them that ability. So I showed the resident page earlier where you could go in and do ratings and comments by department if a resident or family member wants to. And then all of that data is transparently provided to your executive director and then your operating company so that operating companies can use this information to make informed decisions about what's going well that we should continue implementing across other communities, and then also provide data-driven insights into what could be going better, where are departments where we're lacking. We could read through the user feedback of why are we lacking, and learn from that. And then that will give them a good sense of where to direct time, attention, and resources to improve the customer experience.
Okay, now let's talk about the benefits and the impact that Benchmark Connect will deliver across our communities, our associates, and the residents and the families we serve. At its core, Benchmark Connect is designed to improve communication, provide faster access to information, and create more seamless experience for everyone involved. For the operators of the community, started with our operations at a broader community, Benchmark Connect helps create more connected, consistent experience across all of our locations. It will it'll improve family and resident satisfaction. When questions are answered quickly and accurately, people feel informed, supported, and confident in the services we provide. Second, it creates a smoother transition experience, whether a resident is new to the community, have a maintenance task, or related question. The ability of having reliable information available reduces confusion and makes the process easier. Another important benefit is more consistent communication across regional teams and community partners. Everyone has access to the same information and messaging, which helps eliminate inconsistencies and ensure a unified experience regardless of location. Finally, Benchmark Connect serves as a competitive differentiator in senior living market. Families increasingly expect immediate access to information and support. By offering a modern, responsive communication solution, we strengthen our reputation as an innovative and resident-focused organization. For our associates, Benchmark Connect helps simplify day-to-day work and improve efficiency. One major advantage is fewer repetitive questions. Associates often spend significant time answering the same questions about services, policies, activities, or community information. Benchmark Connect can handle many of these routine questions, allowing department managers to focus on high-value interactions. It also improves our communication routing. Questions can be directed to the appropriate resource more quickly, reducing delays and ensuring inquiries reach the right person when human assistance is needed. As a result, we can increase operational efficiency. Teams spend less time searching for information or responding to repetitive questions and more time focusing on resident care, relationship building, and other mission-critical activities. Additionally, the platform enables seamless follow-up. Information and interactions can be tracked more effectively, help ensure that questions are resolved, and that residents and families receive support they need. Perhaps the most important impact on the residents and their families. Benchmark Connect provides access to information 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Families don't have to wait for business hours to find the answers to common questions. This accessibility helps reduce anxiety and uncertainty. Senior living decisions are often emotional, and families want reassurance that they can get reliable information when they need it. Finally, it enables faster access to the right answers. Instead of navigating multiple contracts or waiting for a call back, residents and families can quickly find the information they're looking for, creating a more positive and supportive experience. Benchmark Connect delivers a value across every level of organization. It improves satisfaction, consistency to our communities, increasing efficiency and effectiveness to our associates, and provides resident and families with faster access to the information they need Together, these benefits strengthen the quality of our service and our position as a leader in the senior living industry. Next slide. I missed that one. That's all I had.
So now that we've rolled out the app and our intentions of what it will do, the problems it will solve, we want to make sure, just like any big rollout, that we're prepared to integrate it into our resident and family population, and also that our department teams are anticipating the rollout of the app. So how we kind of foresee a rollout for our residents and families. Integrating new move-ins is going to be the easy part. They won't know any different. It'll just be introduced as part of the move-in process. At lease signing, we can start talking about the app, introducing the app, and then going into that sign-on process. We would like our current residents and families to start using the app as well. So we have multiple ways that we can start communicating the rollout to them and support for the enrollment. We can utilize email blasts, family meetings when we have resident council, start doing a demo of what the app looks like, different postings around the community, and we can even host either daytime or evening how-to sessions and seminars to get everyone on the app, because the more we have integrated into the app, the better the use of the app will be. We can easily create literature for distribution based on each community and our resident population. After a long-term rollout period, current residents and new residents, it will just become seamless as part of the new resident move-in process. As far as our department teams go, we want to make sure that they also understand the expectation. If we're not also feeding into the app's user interfaces and giving our feedback, it won't be a successful rollout. So we want our team to understand the why. We want them to clearly understand the benefits for the families, the transparency that they'll have, the convenient communication, and the result of essentially higher satisfaction, and the improved operational efficiencies as well. We want to create clear designation of responsibilities, talk about when and where it's appropriate to be logging into the app, the frequency of checking the apps, and what our notifications on our end will look like. And then, of course, we want to provide the hands-on training to make sure everyone's comfortable with the technology, that we can not only use it on our end, but teach it, and then lead by example. Ongoing support will be needed as you may have department team turnover, but having a successful app will really rely on the usage of our residents and families and the buy-in from our department team having that expectation. If you can go to the next slide. We will want to be measuring our results. The higher the percentage of families using the app, the more efficient the app will become. We can track frequency of logins and use. We are hoping to see overall decreased resident and family complaints. Again, we will have that reduction in director time answering questions and an increase in time and quality connections and conversations. So again, we're not taking away the human aspect of what we do. We're trying to make it more efficient. And then when applicable, if for benchmark, we have our family satisfaction scores, or if other organizations were to adapt a similar app just like this, we want to see increase in those family satisfaction scores. But again, we get those satisfaction scores once a year. This app will let us make those changes in real time, whether it's adapting during monthly meetings, quarterly meetings. We'll be able to adapt to our current resident population sooner than an annual survey score. And then again, we're always hopeful for positive Google reviews, keeping our buildings occupied and our residents happy and satisfied. If you can go to the next slide. And the final piece, we just wanted to provide some of the questions that we're hoping, we talked about future base of the AI service to grow. So we've listed common family resident questions that we all know we get, especially within those first 30 to 60 days. And then the future AI outlook of the app. So fine tuning the feedback will help improve the clarity and the accuracy of answers. So the more people use the question and answer piece under the AI intelligence, then the better the answers will get for the families. Increased app usage will grow the database of questions. And then again, items not answerable will always continue to go through a live director to help answer, and the AI can use that data as a feedback loop to continue to grow itself. Overall, the goal is to collect that data and use it not just in operations of the community, but organization-wide to adjust our productivity. So although the app has lots of features, we did want to include our hopes that it can use AI to also grow what the app does over time. You can go to the next slide. So we want to thank you for listening to our Capstone proposal, and we can open it up to any questions or comments or feedback. So thank you for your time.